art can be an expensive hobby, and between paints, mediums, texture supplies, and other specialty products, you can easily spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But what if I told you that a lot of these products, you can make them yourself and save some money? Well, that's what I'm here for today. I'm going to show you 7 products that I make at home to save myself some money. Number 1, homemade gesso. A lot of artists use gesso to prime their painting surfaces to help the paint adhere a little bit better, and also to create a more uniform painting surface. Now, I make it because obviously it's a lot cheaper and it's very, very easy to make. A few things that you could use this gesso for could be to prepare your canvases, also to cover your wood panels, for journals, mixed media surfaces, etc. So gesso is great and it can be used for a lot of different types of artwork. And the way that I do it is by mixing cornstarch, glue, baking soda, and water. Those are the 4 easy and inexpensive ingredients that you can use to create gesso. I have a video specifically for this. I will link it in the description box below and maybe here or here. And you can go check that out after this video. That will show you all the ratios and the steps to make this homemade gesso. But yeah, it's super easy to make, only 4 ingredients, and those ingredients are super inexpensive. Now, let's go to the second supply, the homemade modeling paste. I also have another video that goes over how I make this. And I will link all of those videos down below in the description box, and also link them somewhere up here. But yeah, that one, it's super easy again to make, very cheap, and you can use it to create raised textures, to create add dimension to your paintings. It's great for mixed media and abstract artwork. I've used it to create lots and lots of different things. I used it to create, I don't know if I can't show it to you because it's back there, but it's a seascape. I used it for that. I used it for this, which was a very fun project that I did for my daughter, and it has a raised surface. And so, yes, I created a lot of different types of artwork, primarily mixed media, using this homemade modeling paste, and I love it because it's easy to create and very, very simple. This one, all you need is glue, paint, and cornstarch. Super easy, inexpensive, and I'll link the video up here or down below. Number 3 is the DIY texture paste. I love this because if you need to create a very rough surface on something for whatever type of artwork you're creating, this is the perfect supply for that. And it's also, again, very easy and very inexpensive to make, and you can customize it depending on what it is that you're creating. So, for example, I will have a video also linked somewhere here where I show how I used this texture paste to create some texture on the lids of some jars where I put some cute little ghosts in there. And then I proceeded to paint this texture paste with, different metallic colors, and it just created this very cute vintage type of texture. It just looked like if it was metal, kind of like rusted metal. So it was absolutely gorgeous. I loved it. It worked great for that. And this texture paste, all it needs is acrylic paint, baking soda, and sand. Oh my gosh, super easy. And again, watch this video somewhere here, or down below, where it will tell you exactly how I did that, or how I used it in this specific ghost project. But basically, you just mix that until you get a very thick consistency. If for some reason it's not sticking to your surface or whatever, you can add a little bit of clear glue or white glue to the mixture to help it, stick a little bit better. But I found that adding the acrylic paint was enough, at least for that project. The acrylic paint, once it dries, it kind of also solidifies, and it solidifies the whole mixture. So I found that it worked great just the way that I did it, but you could add a little bit of glue if you feel that it needs a little bit more adhesion. Okay, next one is, oh wait, before I go to the next one, this one you can use it to create like stone effects, beach textures, weathered surfaces, fantasy inspired textures, and lots of different mixed media backgrounds. So yeah, this is great for doing that type of thing. Okay, next one. Supply number 4 is DIY metallic paint. I love this tip. I love doing this with my paints because I love having a huge variety of paints, but it's impossible to have all the different types of paints that I want, right? Sometimes it's not feasible money-wise and space-wise to have lots of paints. And they cost, they do cost a lot of money. And sometimes I probably won't use these metallic paints as much, so sometimes they might go to waste. So the best way to get metallic paints without buying a metallic paint is using the paints that you already have and adding some mica powder. So you can have some gold mica powder, bronze mica powder, copper, pearl. So all you do is basically mix what you already have, your acrylic paints in whatever shades you have, and you mix them with mica powder. So these mica powders are shimmery, and you can find them in different textures. So you can find them in finer powders or a little bit chunkier powders. And depending on what you get is the shimmer that you might get in your paints once you mix them. So this is a great tip because you can create a lot of metallic shades of colors, a lot of metallic paints, simply by having a few metallic mica powders. And then you can also mix the paints that you already have to make different shades of colors, and then add mica powder, and oh my gosh, you have an unlimited palette to choose from for your next painting. So yes, that is my next tip. And then we will go to number 5, my DIY colored crushed glass. So I love using glass. I love using crushed glass, especially in my geodes. They just give my geodes so much dimension, and they just look beautiful. So I use a lot of crushed glass, but sometimes if you don't want to spend the money on buying all these different types of crushed glass that you can find, right, or that you might need for your next project, you might want to do your own. And this is very simple. You can go to the dollar store. Usually they have these things at the dollar store. And you can buy these in smaller bags or larger bags, depending on, sometimes you might even find them at Hobby Lobby or something like that. And you can crush these pieces of glass into smaller pieces of glass to use for your project. I have another video where I show how to do that. Again, all these videos will be linked below and somewhere up here. So I do have one where it shows how I do that. If you have the time and want to save yourself a couple of bucks, you can do your own crushed glass. This works great again for geode artwork, mixed media, for anything that you want to add a little bit of sparkle or fantasy inspired projects. These are amazing, and they're relatively easy to do, relatively easy to make. Now let's go to point number 6, homemade acrylic paint retarder. Another video that I have for you to watch. So if you're an artist that needs your paints to dry a bit slower, you need more time, for your paints to dry for whatever reason, if you want to prevent cracking or whatever it is that you're looking for. If you want to slow down the drying time, give you more time to work, helps you with blending, or it's useful for acrylic painting and mixed media, then I recommend that you do this DIY acrylic paint retarder that I will have in the video up here or down here. And it only needs 2 ingredients that you will find in that video. So go check that out after you finish watching this video. Okay, next one, it's homemade pouring medium. This is supply number 7. And this, I guess it's my most requested supply that people ask me for. And yes, for like a lot of these homemade DIY things, you have to purchase something in order to do, the DIY version of it. But most of the times it's a little bit cheaper. For example, the gesso, right? You have to purchase the cornstarch and the what was it? The baking powder and the glue and whatever. But those are a lot cheaper, and they will make larger batches of your DIY version of the gesso. So basically here, for these homemade pouring mediums, you will also need to purchase certain ingredients to make your pouring medium, but it will be much cheaper than if you went to purchase a professional grade pouring medium. Now, keep in mind that some of these pouring mediums might not be what they call archival, which means that they'll last for years and years and years without yellowing or whatever. But most of our artwork is not going to be put up on museums. And most of the artwork, even if people buy it, they will not keep it for years and years until they die. Most of the time they'll replace it. So you don't really need to worry that much about your pouring medium, being archival, unless it's a very picky customer who doesn't really want you to use, homemade stuff or whatever. Then I guess you might want to consider buying a professional grade pouring medium. But if it's for any other reason, it's just much cheaper to go the DIY route. And I use these all the time, and they give me great results. And you can use these with silicone oil to get cells, or you can use them without silicone oil if you simply want, if you don't want those many cells to form, okay? So you can kind of customize it the way you want. So the first recipe is a glue-based pouring medium, and all you do is you mix 1 part glue with 1 part water. You mix these. This is a volume ratio, okay? So if you put 1 cup of water, you put 1 cup of glue. So it's by volume. Then you mix this, and once you have this pouring medium mixture, you mix that in a 1-to-1 ratio with paint. So 1 part of the pouring medium to 1 part paint. Again, if you use 1 cup of pouring medium, then you use 1 cup of paint. That's like a very big amount of paint, and you probably won't use, those big volumes or big amounts, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to make a point here. Now, the paint needs to be the ones that come in a tube, okay? Like the Artist Loft or Liquitex Basics. I don't have anything here because I actually have them in my closet downstairs. But those are the ones that come in a tube, the ones that you squeeze, okay? Because there's other ones that they're in a bottle that stands up, and then you tilt it, and those are a little bit more fluid. So you want something that has the consistency more of like toothpaste. And these would be like Artist Loft, Liquitex Basics, Amsterdam paints, okay? All of this goes by volume. The ratios go by volume. And then you now adjust the consistency of that paint mixture. So now you've mixed let's kind of go back a little bit, okay? So you mixed 1 part glue with 1 part water. That made your pouring medium. Then you mix that pouring medium, 1 part of that, with 1 part of paint. And now you have a paint mixture, okay? And now you adjust the consistency of that paint mixture by adding water to it. And the amount of water that you add to it really depends on how thin or thick you want your paint to be. And then if you do want to get cells, you will add 1 drop of silicone oil per every 80 milliliters of paint mixture, okay? Paint mixture. So you have your pouring medium, your paint, you mix them together, and for every 80 milliliters of that paint mixture, you put 1 drop of silicone oil. And then you can layer your colors in a cup, pour them, do a flip cup or whatever, and you can get a beautiful painting with cells. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you want to lightly torch the areas where you want the cells to appear, because they won't always just magically appear. They need a little bit of heat to encourage those cells to show. So make sure that you go lightly over the areas and don't put the heat there too long, because you're going to burn the paint. So just a little bit, and then the cells will show up in the areas where you torched it. Now, if you're going to do the swiping technique, which basically you swipe a paint over other paints to create cells, then you will add silicone oil to the base paints. So basically the paints that will be swiped over, and you will not add any silicone oil to the paint that you're going to be swiping with, okay? So silicone oil on the bottom, no silicone oil on the paint that you're going to swipe your silicone paints with. Yes, hopefully that makes sense. And again, you can use a little bit of heat if the cells are not happening as well as you hoped for. You know, torch those areas lightly and give it time. Sometimes all it needs is for your painting to sit there for a couple of minutes, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes for those cells to start forming. But a little bit of heat always helps with this. Now, again, if you don't want to add silicone oil to any of your paints because you don't really like cells, then don't add it. You can use it like it is. And you still might get a little bit of cells simply because of the density of the paints. It's not guaranteed that you won't get any cells if you don't add silicone oil, but it's just much less likely that you'll get cells. The goal isn't necessarily to make every single art supply yourself. Sometimes quality really matters, and sometimes you do want to go for these, you know, store-bought supplies which have been made with, you know, quality ingredients, whatever. But some of these supplies that I mentioned here specifically are not that crucial or important if you make them yourselves. And especially if you're using a lot of it. So if you're a mixed media artist and you use a lot of texture paint, or you use a lot of gesso or, you know, molding paste, obviously that's probably a supply that you'll want to save yourself a little bit of money, and you'll want to just do this DIY version. So these are some of the ways that I stretch my budget as an artist. If you want more art tips and hacks and tutorials and all of that, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and watch this next video, which is perfect just for you.